Oh my god.
400 subscribers!
Nice. Just before we start, I want to thank you so much for helping me reaching 400 subscriptions here on YouTube. I can't possibly express on words how much I appreciate the support you give me. So instead of words, I thought I would just announce that I decided to do a giveaway for when I reach 500 subscribers. Stick around till the end of the video for more details, but now on with the review. Elation and jubilation, gamers from all around the world. I am Lucian and this is the World Gamer Show, and today we're going to talk about Neon Genesis Evangelion Second Impression for the Sega Saturn. Yes, I finally get to review a Sega Saturn game, and since it's no easy feat to find a game that hasn't been covered yet, I decided to go for this obscure Japanese-only release, exclusive for Sega Saturn, based on the famous anime. Now, there are plenty of great anime games. Is it one of them? Should fans of the series go and play it straight away? Or does this game fail to leave a good impression? Neon Genesis Evangelion is a fantastic anime series that has gathered a large following over the years, and for good reasons. It managed to join the classic mecha action with deep and thought-provoking themes that are still relevant today, such as the importance of self-affirmation. This Second Impression is a full-motion video adventure with multiple endings that takes place during the events of the main series. As I said, it is exclusive to Japan, and considering the genre to which it belongs, you would assume it is heavy on text. And you would be right. So I will have to resort to all the little Japanese that I know.
What did you say?
It was released in 1997, very close to the release of the then much anticipated The End of Evangelion. Now the series is actually pretty short, consisting in only 26 episodes, plus some FMVs, including the end of Evangelion itself. So imagine how exciting it was to see a game consisting of new, fully animated cutscenes. But before diving deep into that, let's see what's inside this game case, because there are actually quite a few surprises. First, this is one of those double jewel cases that are usually used when the game requires more than one disc. But let's go in order. The first part contains, of course, the game disc itself and a beautiful colored manual. Then we have the extra section, where this nice small disc definitely stands out. This is a super cute mini CD containing 4 audio tracks in total, including 2 songs that were composed specifically for this game, both in normal and karaoke version in case you feel like singing yourself, using the lyrics, sadly in Japanese only, that are contained within the manual. They really thought of everything. On top of that, there is of course the spine card, typical of any Japanese game, a nice flyer inviting you to buy more merchandise, and my favorite extra, these nice cards also exclusive to this game. There's really a ton of stuff, and note that this is not a special edition. This is the standard version, just to make you understand how much care the Japanese publishers used to put in their products, even on a standard edition such as this one. But now let's talk about the game itself. It was released in 1997, in Japan only, and only for the Sega Saturn, and as the name suggests, it is the sequel to another game, simply called Neon Genesis Evangelion. Second Impression achieved overwhelming success, no doubt thanks to the Evangelion mania that was at its apex at the time.
Neon Genesis Evangelion.
On top of that, the publisher advertised it as if this game was a sort of lost episode of the series, taking place in between the 14th and the 15th episode of the main series. They made it look like a big deal, when in the end, as we will see, it was definitely anything but. Even the author himself, Hideaki Anno, denied its place in the official canon. However, this doesn't necessarily mean that this game is uninteresting. Or does it? As previously mentioned, this is a choose-your-path style of game, just like its predecessor. During the FMVs, you will be asked to choose one among few options which will lead the story towards a specific ending. This means that this game is heavy on Japanese, and if you don't speak it, then all you're left is with a bunch of incomprehensible cutscenes. Speaking of which, the FMVs suffer from heavy video compression. Not only the resolution is very low, but because of that, all cutscenes are also windowed to a drastic degree. Now this wasn't uncommon back then, even some PlayStation games suffered the same, with examples such as Psychic Detective or The X-Files, but if this was a proper episode, I definitely wouldn't want to watch it this way. Well, at least the anime part is still curated by Gainax, the original studio behind the classic series. Also, all the voice actors, to my knowledge at least, reprised their respective roles, for the sake of fidelity. And if you noted, I said the anime part, because watching the anime is just one part of the experience. Then there are the 3D mech battles. These weren't present in the original game, so it's understandable that they were heavily pushed during the advertising campaign. Now, before you wet your pants, I suggest you to weigh your expectations. Contrary to the previous game, in which the battles were also FMVs driven, in Second Impression, battles are in 3D, turn-based, and with the camera switching between first and third-person view. After an introductory cutscene showing the opposing angel, you are finally ready for combat. You have many options on display, but most prominent is definitely the targeting reticle in the middle of the screen. As previously said, battles are turn-based in typical RPG fashion. When it's time to actually interact, the camera will be in first person. The color of the reticle will tell you if your next action will be attacking, when the color is green, or if you are in defense mode, when the color is orange. Once you can attack, you can choose whether to perform a close or long range attack by trying to stop the rotating indicator on the screen at the right spot. During the attacks and defensive maneuvers, the camera will switch to a third person to show the two opponents' action. Just remember that if you miss too many attacks, the synchro gauge will decrease, and if it does decrease too much, then the game is over. But really, the system is so basic that you will have a harder time trying to mess things up. Now, as for the graphics during these battles, it's not all bad, but it's definitely not great either. The 3D models for the mechs are actually pretty detailed, and you can clearly tell who is who. They are even well animated. However, the environments are pretty lame. Aside from few occasions, they are pretty unremarkable and lack any sort of details. Now, we all know that the Saturn wasn't really an easy machine to program when it came to handling 3D. So in this case, the developers opted to mix 2D elements with the 3D models to achieve an actually pretty decent result, all considered. And at least these battles are full screen, which is a plus after having to force my eyes on that tiny window. Still, nothing compared to today's subtitle size. Now, as for the story, it's really not worth it. Oh, by the way, slight spoiler alert. So it's true that the story is completely original, just like its predecessor, so if you are a Neon Genesis Evangelion fanatic, you will probably want to see it anyway, just don't set your expectations too high. Yes, it seems to be a recurring thing with this game. As previously said, it takes place between the 14th and the 15th episode of the series. It starts by showing all the angels previously defeated, which is one more confirmation of its temporal location in the timeline. That aside, the story is full of cliché and forced and pointless fan service. The only point of interest for fans could be the new character, however, even that seems uninteresting. This new character, a student girl named Mayumi Yamagishi, is very uninspired, to the point that not even her professional voice actor's performance could save her. The interesting part is that there is also a new angel, the insubstantial angel as it's called, which is connected to her. But guess what? Even its design is uninteresting, at least in its first phase. I'm more into humanoid monsters, so that might just be me. Well, anyway, being a sort of extra episode, even set well in the middle of the main story, there's only so much that the developers could do in terms of plot without messing up the canon. Story aside, you can see that the developers tried really hard in making you feel as if you were watching an episode of the anime, of course within the Saturn's technical limitations. For example, the animation, as previously mentioned, is done by Gainax, the original studio behind the series, but the resolution and the small window can really take you out of the experience. Same goes for the sound. All the voice actors are there and they do a good job. But then, the background music is done with MIDI tracks instead of proper CD quality audio. Man, this quality reminds me of something. Another ear-bleeding masterpiece. So if you want to really satisfy your ears, you will have to listen to the mini CD. Another problem is the longevity. It's true that the game has multiple endings, 4 in total, but each playthrough takes only up to 1 hour. So it's not hard to do the math and realize that it can be fully completed in roughly 4 hours. A little too little. When not even a single part of the main 2 attractions, namely the anime story and the 3D mech battles, managed to stand out, sadly, I can only suggest this game to the most hardcore fans of the main series, and that can also understand Japanese, but even they will have a hard time finding redeeming qualities to this title. At the end of the day, what you get is a filler episode with bad video compression issues. Oh well, at least it's cheap. Since it was very successful in Japan, many copies were printed, and to be honest, this package is worth more for the extras, like the cards and the mini CD with the soundtrack. Then, if you're really curious, you can try the main game as a bonus. But now I want to know your opinion on the matter. Did you ever try this game? Were you even aware of its existence? What's your favorite Evangelion game? Share your thoughts or memories in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed this video, maybe subscribe, like and share the video around. It really does help, but no pressure at all. I just want to thank you for sticking to the end of the video. I'll be sure to see you in my next one, but until then, stay safe, play safe, world gamers. Huh? Who's this? Oh, it's my pal at the Review Dan, a YouTube channel that I follow pretty closely because he only puts out top quality videos about the most interesting gaming topics, so you'd better subscribe to his channel. In particular, if you enjoyed my review of Evangelion 2 on the Saturn, you might be into Japanese games, so why don't you check the Reviews Dan review of Freedom Wars, which was also out on an underrated console, the PS Vita, so underrated, in a similar fashion to the Sega Saturn. I've previously briefly touched on Freedom Wars on my PS Vita exclusives video, which you can find right here, but honestly, the Review Dan's video is so good I could never top that out, so keep up the good work, mate. Also, as for the giveaway, yes, thank you so much again for helping me reach in 400 subscriptions. I thought I'd like to give back to the community by announcing a massive giveaway of digital games for when I reach 500 subscribers. Because you deserve it. I don't want to spoil the surprise on which games will be on giveaways or for which platforms, but you will be able to play these games on the next gen consoles, that's for sure. Also be sure to follow me on my social media accounts like Twitter and Facebook for updates. So yeah, if you are new to the channel, feel free to check my videos. I do review, tutorials, and more simply I love to talk about video games, both retro and recent. Also feel free to, of course, subscribe, like and share the videos you like, because this will really help me growing and will get you some free games to add to your digital collection. This isn't even the first giveaway that I do, so you know this is the real deal. But that's it for today. I just want to give you a big thank you and a small update on how the channel's doing. Love you all and stay safe and play safe, world gamers.